are live. All right, we are live. How's everyone doing? Keelis, we'll start with you.
I'm great. Well, I would say I'm great, but I'm as good as I could possibly be right now. I'm grateful to be alive and healthy. That's as good as I can say right now.
How about you, Ninja?
Oh, same. I'm welcoming the time off, I guess. I really hope everyone I love and, everyone stays healthy through all of this. But I think it's a really good opportunity for us to just be humans again instead of like robot DJs 24/7.
Yeah. How about you, Kristen?
I'm good. I feel like we're at the 30-day mark, and I had to get me a little afternoon nap in yesterday, but I'm fine. It's all about figuring out that balance,
Yeah. Well, it looks like we have some guests tuning in. This is the QSC DJ discussion. We have here, I'm Tessa. I'm the founder of Prism DJs. We have here DJ Keelis. Welcome. And DJ Miss Ninja. Welcome. Kristen from our DJ Rocks in Florida. Thank you to QSC so much for having us. Thank you to the viewers for tuning in. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and we'll get to them when we can. So we're here to talk about our DJ businesses and how we're adapting through all of this. We'll start with kind of like the self-care and the mental health check-in. Do you guys have any new daily routines that you've started since the quarantine? We'll start with Keelis.
Sure. I'm trying not to cough. Speaking of the whole quarantine thing, right now, of course. Excuse me. I started a workout routine before the whole quarantine started, and so I was on the mission. I was like, I'm not losing all that progress that I just did. So I really made it a mission to at least jog a mile a day is what I've been kind of going for, which has been really good to have to look forward to. At least X amount of time in my day that I can kind of just do my own thing and go out there. It's in my neighborhood safely, like, not around people or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that's been helpful for my psyche to be able to think about the day ahead and then move forward and get stuff done.
Yeah. How about you, Ninja? Any new routines? I feel like it took a while for us to get into a routine. Did it take you a while?
It was like, I just took the first few days to hibernate, basically. I slept for probably like 4 days straight because no one knew what was going on. All I knew was all my gigs were canceling. So I was like, well, maybe if I sleep, when I wake up, it'll all be back to normal, but it wasn't. So instead, I decided to get my tech nerd on and develop out my streaming studio, just basically to have fun with my friends, which now has turned into a whole other business on its own, which is great. But more than that, I'm just trying to always remember that I'll never have a break like this again. It might seem like this is going to last forever, but it's not. This is temporary. We'll be back to the grind before we know it. And one thing I've always wanted to do is set aside time for my mental health, my physical health, and not taking this time for granted and trying to fill it with work, but instead do all those things that when my schedule is normal, I typically have a hard time making time for. That's become pretty much like my new routine is trying to work in all those things that I know I probably will neglect again later when the world starts moving.
Yeah, perfect. How about you, Kristen?
Oh man. So I wish I was more like Khalil's because I've totally gained my COVID-19. Not gonna lie. So I'll get back on my exercise routine shortly, but I'm kind of with Ninja a little bit. Like I just had to kind of develop what I'm doing differently than everyone else because when this first hit, it's not just me. I also have a team of DJs, and Tessa, you and I have talked about this too of having teams. It was, I got to hit the ground running. How am I going to take care of all of our clients, all of our DJs? So like, I almost feel like I was in like this bubble maybe for like 3 weeks of like, I didn't really feel anything. I just knew I had to get a million things done because, in a split second, we had 150 postponements at one time. So I didn't really have time to process how I was feeling. And then it kind of hit me in week 3 where I was like, this is devastating. Like I was finally to the point where I'm like, okay, it's hitting me. This is happening. How am I going to get through it? And how am I mentally going to make sure that I am still positive every day. So I actually did have to change my routine. Instead of like waking up and going right into the grind, I was like, okay, let me just start with gratitude. I'm going to post something inspirational. I'll write a handwritten note to a vendor friend or somebody like that. So I just kind of adjusted those few tweaks, and it definitely helped for sure.
Awesome. So a couple of us had talked a couple weeks ago for the QSC DJ discussion. And I'm wondering, has anything changed for you ladies within the last 2 weeks with your DJ business? Because everything's changing so fast, right? So you have to adapt. So yes, like any changes that you've made to your DJ business within the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I can start. I've had to do a lot, and I've seen Ninja doing a lot too, of virtual DJ sets, and some clients I do a lot of weddings and private events personally. That's my personal jam. I like to get home early. No offense to the nightclub DJs, but
same. We're with you on that.
So anyway, I've been doing a lot of virtual events, both on the corporate side and to make up for weddings. I mean, they might not be real weddings, but to have them have something special on their dates. So that's been a really cool way to still be able to do what I enjoy and keep social distancing in mind too, and stay at home also. So it's been a good alternative for right now. I'm definitely itching to get in front of a live crowd, but it fits that itch a little more. I have not done live streaming quite just yet. I know I've seen a couple of you guys out there doing it, which props to you guys. The patience of that technical backside, I am lacking that. So I'm trying to
learning.
Yeah. But for me personally, just a lot more virtual and having to adapt to that and trying to figure out ways to, when we do get back to doing events, being able to integrate virtual things with live things to, accommodate the slow progression of being able to allow larger and larger groups.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say, you're right on the money with that tech live streaming thing. Like, no matter how much patience you have, it will test your patience because something will always go wrong. And you have to just be able to say that the hardest thing is when something falls apart and you're live and you have to be very mindful of your facial expressions. Exactly. So the whole world doesn't know that your world is imploding behind the scenes.
Right.
So, and I think you have to do that as a DJ, no matter where you go, you're public, and no matter what's happening in your life, you have to keep like a strong front, right? But it's extra when it's tech. But that's kind of what I've done with my business model, is I've adjusted by just taking everything digital. And it hasn't even been for business, really. It's been more because, as all of us on this, I think everyone involved in the stream and everyone watching, we love DJing. I love music. I love playing for people so that I can bring joy and bring, just a sense of like positive energy. And I really felt at the beginning of this, that's what we all needed more than anything right now. We have the first responders on the front line taking care of all the heavy stuff, but there's also that other, end of it, which is mental health. And if I could do something to help make sure that my viewers, my friends, my clients even that tune in, if I can do something to uplift their mental health by, providing an hour of escape, I wanted to make sure I was there for that. It's like in the Titanic, the band was the last, thing standing. I saw a meme that said that's us DJs right now. We're like that last front. So just to keep everyone's energy up, but it has turned into now part of my business. I do get paid now for a lot of my live streams. And it's been kind of cool just to get back to it, to do something I love because I love it, and then see that people find value in it enough to give me money for it.
Right.
Wow. I love that. I don't even know how I'm going to follow that. First of all, Ninja, you've been a rock star on your live streams. Like, I don't know if you guys watch her, but she's like just a chill, like boss babe. Like, I've seen like when her lav goes out and she's just like, still doing her thing. Like, not even, meanwhile, like, I'm over here and the camera's going out and I'm sweating and I'm trying to go into the next mix. Yeah, it's the tech side of this, and DJing how we've never done it before is, I mean, we've been shoved outside of our comfortable boundaries, right? So that 100% has been different. And I think the other piece that I could probably add to it is just staying in contact with our current clients, right? I can only imagine if I was, a couple on the other side who had booked me and they're thinking, is she even going to be in business? Is she even going to be my DJ? So I think, for me and for our company, it's just been, how do we make sure that we're still communicating with them, in our live streams by just like conversating, not even DJing live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So I see that we have more QSC viewers tuning in. Make sure to pop a question in the comments and we'll get to those when we can. Next question, have you added any additional services to your packages or for your business?
I personally, just like I was saying before, virtual services is something I'm looking into adding on with clients, or at least opening my pathways to collaborating with companies that offer that sort of thing, so that when clients are in need, I have the availability to say, hey, I can't do that service, but this is your guy to do it. Because I'm anticipating there's going to be a lot of unique requests, because you have the clients who are just like, I don't care, put a laptop there, broadcast, and you're going to have the ones that say, no, project that bad boy on the side of the building and amplify it as loud as you know what I mean? So you're going to have to be able to accommodate both clients. So that's definitely one of the services I've started to add, and I'm looking into expanding to make sure that I can accommodate those needs.
Well, obviously, like we just touched on before, I've added, a lot more digital packages to what I can offer to my clients now. And it's opened up a whole other market, because there are clients that have like a good reach on like Instagram or whatever, and they want to utilize that. Maybe they don't necessarily want to do an event after this is over with a bunch of physical bodies around, but we can hone into the clientele and the markets that they already do have based on their social media platforms. So I've been trying to find ways to strategically take what they already have and create experiences for their viewers, so that they can still stay relevant and still get out their messaging, whatever they want to do, if it's to, help with a product or a fundraiser or whatever, to make sure that I can help steer them and, kind of become an expert in how to take their existing social media following and translate that into something that now we can make it more interactive. Because we've moved into, we're social distancing, fine, but we've moved into a much more interactive space online now. Whereas for me personally, I used to post photos of myself DJing, but now it's videos and people can see what I can do. And I've realized it's a lot more engaging. So even for our clients, if we can take this more engaging atmosphere that we've created to then bring that to their, viewer base, it's great for their business too. So just adding, those little things and finding, instead of thinking of how is this restricting me, thinking about like, what new avenues can I now expand on? That's kind of been more where I've been going with all this.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I definitely will slide in your DMs when we get there.
I think anytime.
Yeah, I think for us, like I'm first of all, I'm the first person to like jump off the cliff, like let's go, let's try new things. But I'm finding in this moment that I'm being a little bit more like, let me absorb right now. That's where I'm at. And I'm really watching it all, right? Like, virtual DJing, virtual galas, virtual graduations, live streaming. And I just want to make sure that before I make that decision to either learn how to do it and hone that in, or teach any one of my team, that I'm not veering off too far from our original purpose and passion for what we're doing. So, kind of like what one of you had mentioned, like if we don't do it, I will partner with someone who does. But I think even too, just being creative, when some of these mandates do get lifted, of like, how can I be creative and not just do a typical wedding? Like, what about a reopening party? Can I put together packages to help? Or like, could we come up with some sort of like package? Like we already have uplights sitting in our warehouse. So, could I be creative and come up with something to light up people's building to support a certain cause? Or we're kind of going in that direction as far as innovation. And I think I'm going to take it a little bit slower when it comes to, the live streams. Cause I just want to make sure if I do it well, or I'm just like, okay, you want a laptop? I can push go, but like,
Yeah. Well, on the topic of creative ideas, we have a question from one of the viewers. Lauren asks, What do you think about the live DJ set of David Guetta in Miami or the upcoming one of Bob Sinclair on the top of Arc de Triomphe in Paris on Monday? I actually haven't seen those. Have you ladies seen any of those yet?
Yeah. David Guetta's on the rooftop. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
providing rooftop services.
If you have access to that, like go for it.
When you're competing with somebody like D-Nice that got, what was that, 1 million views, you have to step it up because like he broke everything with that. So now it's like you have to step the game up because if you want to get those views, it's more than just DJing your kitchen now because he took that away from us. So we got to be climbing buildings, you know?
I just want to know who he knows over at Instagram that's not kicking him off.
Oh my God. He's playing real mainstream top 40 stuff and for like 4 minutes a song too. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I kind of found it's not a workaround, but I was able to finish my first full 1 hour live stream without getting kicked off. Yes. And you just have to I know. It was like, I feel like I deserve a medal for that. But it was just basically, playing things that are familiar, but remixed, obviously, which is really great for our record pools right now, because all of the record pools that I subscribe to, they have remixes done by their in-house DJs. And a lot of them are great remixes, and they're just different enough from the original track where you won't get booted. So just make sure, support your local, whatever record pool that you're with, do some digging, support the DJs that are still working hard to bring you new edits, and get creative with your sets online. And it's just, it's a little more work, but it's good for everyone.
Yeah. Well, we'll take another question from Kevin. What are your favorite types or brands of DJ equipment, software, etc.? I'll start here. Obviously, I love QSC. I love QSC speakers. I love the K12s, the K12.2s, and the CP8s. I use those all the time. I use my Pioneer SX3 controller and my Pioneer S9. I use vinyl turntables, CDJs, and like I said, the controller. So I'll start with you, Keyless.
Well, I'm actually a fan of QSC as well. I have a large QSC arsenal, so definitely a huge fan of those speakers. And you use a lot of Pioneer gear because I do the mobile event. So I'm a big believer in lighter is better and less is more when it comes to having the setup. So my preferred is a DJ SX controller. And then I like Shure microphones are pretty reliable to an extent. So it tends to be my arsenal. And then Chauvet I really like for lights. That's the typical brand.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I love everything. I mean, I guess I'm one of those people that has always believed that if you put it in front of me, I'll figure out how to use it. Like I don't ever want to be at a gig where they have certain gear and I'm like, oh, I can't DJ because I don't know how to use this. So I love all of it, but I will say my favorites would have to be, obviously, I love the one piece of gear that's changed my life are my QSC 8.2s because they have all the sound of my my old Mackie 15s. They provide the same amount of sound. They weigh like half of that, and it's even like punchier. I can rely on the clarity of sound even more. So, and they take up less space in my trunk, which is always great because I have a little Prius. So just, again, I'm with Keyless on this one. The smaller, the better when it comes to mobiles. I love my Pioneer DDJ SR controller for when I do mobiles, but yeah, that thing's it's got all the functionality of my S9 and my turntables built right into a small controller. I am going to start doing some DJ sets with my Newmark DJ to go. I've built a teeny tiny setup just to have some fun in the park. So that will be coming up soon. But I think my favorite pieces of gear are my K8.2s and then my Pioneer S9 and obviously my 1210s, my Technique 1210s. Those are my babies.
Yeah, and just shout out to the 8s too, because those bad boys, you can do a nice shop opening or 100-person event, and you can still go to war, and most people won't even know the difference because
they've got so much low end.
Yeah, it's so
tiny little speakers. It's amazing.
So true.
I'm just going to second all of that. My controller that I'm using is the Pioneer SX3. I have pretty much every version of the QSC speakers. I have the 12s, I have 10s, I have 8s, and I have the new CP8, which is what I'm using in our studio. For any time that I'm going live, whether it's podcasting or something like this, I'm using this Shure guy right here. I love the way this sounds. When I am at a live event, I'm either on a Shure or a Sennheiser microphone. And I don't know if we got to software yet, and you guys are all going to come at me, but I'm still on Virtual DJ. It's got features that I love that Serato doesn't. However, I have recorded mixes on the Serato, so I'm familiar with both. Me and Virtual DJ have this long time relationship, and so I can't get out of it just yet.
The mix sounds good, girl. That's all that matters. Nobody knows.
Yeah, just as long as it sounds good with your QSC speakers. That's all.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I'll get back to business. Have you guys received any inquiries from corporations or brands or weddings to do like virtual events?
I actually have a wedding coming up next Monday. It's going to be May the 4th themed. So Star Wars. There's
Yes.
Yeah, I know you love that. So it's half Star Wars, half Harry Potter, and it's amazing. We're going to start it off with like the Star Wars scroll, and I think it's like episode 5, COVID-19 attacks or something like that.
Nice.
And it's a very amazing storyline of like talking about the couple, how they were just peacefully living in Hollywood and now they're under it. So it's good. I'm super stoked about it, but it's a whole theme thing. So that's one of the things I've been doing. But I have had a few inquiries, a lot of people doing webinars and convention type things. Virtual proms are something I'm seeing a lot more right now. And then actually, yeah, thanks to you, Tessa, talking to somebody about a school dance competition that they're trying to have. So that should be fun.
Oh. Very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, you've been keeping really busy also with, I see, Zoom and all of that, doing like virtual webinars with corporations and all their clients, Keelas, which is really cool. Yeah. I love that we're doing that because I've been doing kind of the same thing because, you know, people are always looking for ways to keep things interesting.
Right.
And adding a little music to your, you know, your otherwise, you know, eye roll of a Zoom meeting that a lot of, you know, maybe your team is like, I'm really sick of these. One day you pop up with a DJ and it just boosts the morale so much.
And the attention on Zoom meetings is so low. So it's like you got 10 minutes before they're waiting for that next thing to happen. So that's why it's really key to have that.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. Like pump everyone up for 10 minutes. And it goes a long way. Like 10 minutes of good music will carry people like a good half hour to 45 minutes into a Zoom meeting, you know? So adding that has been good. I've been doing more like charity things where we're doing like fundraisers. But then I have done a few with like Prism DJs and everything with just client events where they've paid me my rate, my full rate to do a live stream. I'm doing a lot of stuff with quiet events, and we do virtual silent discos online. And now,
how does the silent disco work online?
It's so cool, actually. They built out this whole platform where they've taken that silent disco and made it translatable to an online experience. So they have 3 DJs going up all at the same time. So much like us right now, how we have our 4 screens up, they have 3 screens up with 3 DJs live streaming at the same time, but you can only listen to one at a time, and you choose which one you want to listen to.
Oh, very cool.
And then there's a like function and a chat box. So you're like kind of competing against the other DJs for attention, just like you do at a silent disco. So the energy is really good. They keep our tip links up. So I get tips during the stream, you know, from the people that are watching, which, you know, maybe it's not a lot of money, but it pays for my groceries, which is great. But more than that, it just makes me feel good that in this time that everyone's going through this, that like I'm able to give someone something that they're grateful enough to reciprocate with like a small tip. It's more about the spirit of it more than the monetization of it. And then obviously like trying to partner up with clients to do like, I did a virtual festival last weekend, which was a festival that was supposed to take place in San Jose last weekend, and they moved it virtual. And that was just such a fun experience, partnering with a bunch of different artists, you know, to like share our music to markets that maybe wouldn't be exposed to us otherwise, you know, things like that. And I think the one thing before I, you know, pass the torch over to Kristen is don't think of this time as something you necessarily have to just monetize. There's other ways to bring value to your business, whether it's expanding your viewership, engaging with your current fan base, you know, drawing more people into your space so that when you come out of this, there are more people that are aware of you and have seen what you can do. You'll be able to hit the ground running a lot faster if you are doing things right now. And you don't have to. If this is a time for like personal space, do that. Whatever's going to make you come out of this feeling good to move forward with whatever it is that you want to build for your life, do that. But if DJing is like the thing that's on your mind right now, how do I, keep my DJ career going through this? Engage with your fans, build a new fan base, move into markets that maybe wouldn't have been exposed to you before. Those are all ways that, though they're not monetary, they will add to your ability to monetize this moving forward when we come out of this.
How about for you, Kristen?
Man, Ninja, you're on point today. So I was just gonna say,
those things too.
yeah, I was just gonna say I'm probably the only one in the world who hasn't got an inquiry for an actual paid virtual event, but
They're coming. They're coming.
It's the perfect transition because we are still going live and we are still being virtual with our live sets. And then our company does these quote unquote backstage passes. I know I've already brought it up to you guys before, where we're just engaging with clients. And on the other side of that, we obviously just did it for fun, but clients have reached out to us and said, hey, I saw you guys did this. Like, I really loved it. I want to chat about my wedding next October. So
it helps with the marketing. And
it
also
does.
You know that you are doing the live stream events. So when it's time for them to, if it's a corporate event or if it's a wedding, I feel like some weddings are going to start happening for us.
We'll
see how that all works out. But that leads into the next question. I think the live stream inquiries from corporates are just starting to pepper in very slowly right now, at least for me. And I guess one of the questions I have for you, and I have for myself even, how do you charge for this? Because live streaming is more difficult than it looks. There's so much back end stuff to consider. So what are some of those back end items to consider when charging the client and then communicating to them why it may be this much amount?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be one of the main issues with people trying to hire DJs for virtual events. Is they're going to, because already people want to say, "Oh, you're just a button pusher. Why am I paying you?"
Well, it looks easy.
Yeah,
it might be easy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's going to be something that we're going to have to work on is communicating to the client that there is, setup involved. There's preparation involved of us preparing our sets. And I mean, especially if you have a really particular corporate client, you can't just play anything that you want to play. You have to ask them and say, what am I okay to play and what's a no? Because, if you drop the latest, whatever hip hop track that might be out there, if you're like Mo Mamba and they're like looking at you like, what is this? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things that the preparation time in and of itself, along with the setup, I think is something you have to consider. And I think the best way to do that would be to line item it, explaining it to your client of, hey, here's the cost and this is what the costs include. And we are in a time of, financial struggle, given that a lot of people are out of work. So I definitely think it is the time to consider, setting your price, but also setting it at a point where you have some wiggle room to come down so that the client you can say, hey, here's the price I'm quoting you, but if you're on a budget, talk to me and let's see what we can do. And you're going to have the clients that are going to take that full price with no questions asked. And you're going to have the other ones that are say, hey, you know what, how about this? And then you just, make sure you have that room for wiggle would be what I would recommend.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think wiggle room is always important, even with like the live events that we do. Always, just, you never know, what someone's budget is. If they have an Amazon budget or if they have a mom and pop shop budget, that's something that's always been hard to gauge, even before all this happened. And now it's even more hard because it's the whole new frontier. But for me, what I've done is I've really just, I know how much work it takes to put on one of my live streams. And I know the extra stress that's involved. I actually feel like live streams should be like, I should get paid more for my live streams than I do for my live events, because not only am I doing the DJing that I typically would do, minus maybe setting up some speakers. That's the only thing that I'm not doing that's extra, but I am setting up cameras. I am doing sound checks the day before with my clients. I am doing all sound checks within my house to make sure all my levels are right, all my gear is functioning properly. If gear goes out, I have my backup plans so that I know how I can keep the show going if there is a problem. So not only am I now the DJ, but I'm the tech, I'm the sound tech, I'm the graphic and web designer because I'm doing all the skins for my shows. So there's all these added components that typically an entire team would be working on that I'm now doing by myself. So, I pretty much have kept my rate the same, my hourly rate, and then I've tacked on a little bit extra for the bells and whistles. If they want like a custom skin, that's going to be a certain amount. If they want like a simple setup with one camera angle, that's going to be a certain amount. If they want it super dynamic, that's a little more complicated. That will cost a little bit more. So I think if you can make it a little more a la carte, where you can offer certain things at certain extra prices, they can see what's now involved with your setup, and they can choose how far they want you to take it. But I think also it's really good to remember that some of the clients, like maybe birthday parties and people like that, where it's personal things, they might be strapped for budget because they're in the same, boat as us. But corporations still have their annual budgets to spend on events, which it's just sitting there right now. So, don't sell yourself too short when it comes to corporate events. They do have the money. I'm never about, exploiting anybody, but you want to do what's fair for you and what's fair for them and what's respectful to your time at the end of the day. So don't be shy about asking for your rate. I think that's the one thing I think I want most DJs to know.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid.
I agree 100%, Ninja. You preach, mama.
Kristen, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I would say definitely like this is not the time. Yes, you heard it here first from all of us. I don't think it's the time for us to automatically assume that everybody is wanting our rates to drop. And there is a lot more that goes on behind the scenes to make these lives possible. So, I think if you were in your head, if the question is, how do we get to the point where we can start putting pricing on paper and it's structured, start with these are my rates and then here are add-ons. And the add-ons would be just like Ninja mentioned, like virtual. And there's all the elements to that. Do you want 3 different angles? Do you want 1 angle? Are you wanting a microphone to be on so that I'm interacting? Things like that. And then I think most importantly, to just add on one more thing, I think it should be about having a conversation with the client and not just email. So I don't think that my recommendation would to be create a pricing sheet, click here to add on virtual. I think it should be, thanks so much for reaching out to me. Let's have a conversation so I can understand what your vision and your needs are, because you can get on the phone and start asking. So what were you thinking? Talk to me about what your vision was. Oh, well, I saw this one DJ and, she was like here. And then like at one point the camera switched, boom, you already know I need 2 cameras, right? And then so you start asking the, inquisitive questions of what they're thinking and what they want the end product to be. And then when you get to the end of that conversation, be like, okay, cool. So I think I have an idea of everything that you're looking for. Just kind of throwing some numbers out there. What price range did you guys want to stay between?
Yeah.
They might throw out a number at you, or they might say, I don't have a budget. And then you can kind of take it a step further. But, if we start with what we know our structure is going to be and what our add-ons are going to be, then in our head, we can say, well, I'm going to customize everything for you. It's not cookie cutter. Then you can start explaining, maybe I have 3 angles, I'm doing this. I have a graphics package where like, I can pop up your logo if I'm using StreamYard or something like that. But yeah, I think it really starts with our mindset of we don't just have to drop prices. Then we've got to build a structure to what that could potentially look like. And then just having a conversation with them,
I think all of this is the best music business advice on the internet right now.
Boom, mic drop.
Cut out this portion of it, post it everywhere.
There you go.
Yeah. So if a brand inquires with you about doing an Instagram live show, what would be your recommendation to the client?
I'm passing that to Ninja.
I'm about to throw it over to Ninja. She's the pro for that. For me personally, Instagram Live, I don't have the technical knowledge for Instagram. So I've been leaning more towards Zoom. For me, Zoom's a little more technically easy to get the sound cleaner than IG. So I would say for me, I tend to veer my clients towards that to see if we can use that, because you can also broadcast off of Zoom onto Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So I offer that as alternative. Now, if a client wanted to do IG, I'm going to do what I'm going to do now, which is call Ninja and ask. So let's pass it to her.
All right. Well, I have thought about this quite extensively because IG is notorious for having the IG police come after us, totally innocent DJs that are trying to make everyone feel good. So, my thoughts on that are Instagram is obviously a great platform. I think most of us have our following built out on Instagram, and same for our clients, right? So, I say that first, always give them the warning that Instagram might drop our feed and I might need to like restart, and we'll just carry on from there. There might be a drop midstream and we'll see, and if there's multiple drops, then there's not going to be a chance for me to go forward because it could get your Instagram page shut down. So I think they should know what the potential hazards could be of doing an Instagram live DJ set. But what I think is a really great workaround, and it's close to what Keela's is saying, it's just taking it a little step further, is if you can get them to go ahead and say, okay, yeah, we'll do this on Instagram live, but let's also set up everything on Zoom. And let's send out mailers and do something on Eventbrite where people can sign up and they get a Zoom link. You're creating engagement, you're building your email database through that. So that's even better for our clients now. They have, instead of just their Instagram followers, people can share that link around and they can get emails for, other people that are typically going to be interested in their product. Otherwise, why would they even tune in for this kind of Zoom meeting, right? So it's targeted audience. And beyond that, what you can do when you do an Instagram live is you can go ahead and pin a comment. So you can pin the comment at the bottom that says, live on blah, blah, blah for this and this. Make sure to join us on Zoom as well for the full show. And that way they know they can kind of be directed, and also have your client go ahead and plug that Zoom link in their bio. So if the Instagram feed does drop, we don't need to carry on with Instagram live. We've gotten people interested on the platform where they have the most followers, but now we can just go ahead and direct everyone to Zoom. So that's kind of how I would handle it. I think it's good for everyone around. And the shows that we can do on Zoom through OBS are going to be a lot more polished than what you get through iRig and Instagram Live.
Mm-hmm. Kristen,
agreed. I don't even know. I can't even talk. She kind of nailed it right on the head. The only thing I was gonna say is, finding out from them what their goals are. But once you do that, at the end of the day, you do have to, give them the road hazards and be like, it could be dropped. So being able to take them from one platform as another is the perfect solution. So boom, done. Why not even? No need to add to it.
Yeah. Well, we have a question from Kevin. What are your thoughts on the popular Twitch site as another platform?
I love Twitch.
Yeah, and I heard a lot of good things about that. But go ahead. What were you going to say, Tess?
Oh, for Twitch, I would say if a corporate company is going to book you for something, a lot of these corporate companies don't have Twitch accounts yet. And I don't have a following on Twitch yet. The corporate account might not have a following on Twitch yet. So it's really redirecting them to the platforms that are going to best suit the client, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other thoughts on that, on Twitch?
No,
which is amazing to keep your DJ set going, right?
Well, I mean, I think of it this way. Like when I started on Instagram, I had 0 followers on Instagram. We all start at 0, no matter what platform we're on. Mm-hmm. So to build up your Twitch following, this is a great time to do it. Don't be scared by the fact that right now I went from like 0 to 200 in like a week and a half. So it's like if you build it, they will come. And just direct your audience there. Maybe some people won't, but Twitch is such a solid platform. I'm a gamer, so I had been wanting to do stuff on Twitch for a long time. Again, it was one of those things I wanted to do and never had time for, and this kind of forced my hand into moving into that world. And Twitch has been it's been great for me. I love the fact that I don't need to think when I'm DJing about, is this song going to get me booted? To have that kind of freedom right now when I'm doing at least my personal streams and I just want to express myself without being, chased by the IG police. It's been great. But Mixcloud has also now come out with one, and I have a lot more followers on Mixcloud. Mm. So now, and it's beta, but I think it's available if you just sign up for Pro. And they've gotten all the licenses for music, so they won't even, after your stream, they won't even mute portions of your audio like Twitch does. So I think Twitch is great, but if we're really thinking forward, I think Mixcloud has the right formula right now, moving, well into the future with all of this.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was just, I think that's something cool Ninja does with her Twitch that I've seen her do is you cross promote by doing a Twitch and then you take little snippets of it and you put it on your Instagram. So that's a cool way to be able to benefit for social media content, at least.
It takes so long.
It's exhausting. I'm invested in this. So that's good. Well, consistently staying in front of your audience and your clients is really important right now. And Kristen, I want to thank you for this. As I came across your page, I saw that you were doing video interviews with your team. And so I ended up doing the same. That's how I'm trying to stay in front of my audience and clients, having them get to know the DJs better. What are all of you doing to stay in front of your audience? And thank you again, Kristen, for that. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah, I saw you guys doing that. That's awesome.
Keep
yourself out there. For me, I've been trying to just keep present in social media as much as I can. Just posting helpful things to clients as much as I can, but also staying on their level. Like I see a lot of DJs, especially for weddings, like posting pictures of other weddings, which I don't know is the appropriate approach to do right now because you might be tugging at the wrong emotion on couples who might have had to cancel. If they see that, I don't want to see somebody having a happy wedding, you know what I mean? So I think it's better to have a more realistic approach of, hey, I'm on quarantine too, but look at what I'm doing, you know what I mean? So I mix it up, it might be me DJing, it might be me in a shark costume, who knows? But I just like to stay relevant and kind of let my clients know that I'm taking care of myself, but also, I sprinkle in, wedding related things. So I recently did like one of those don't rush challenges with wedding vendors so that people can see that I am still, communicating with other people in the industry. And then, I put a caption in there talking about how I miss them and wish I do. And I can't wait to get back to it. So I think little things like that are showing you're doing your part and staying at home, but also showing that you're still ready when the time comes to get out there is important.
Well, I'm going to fully derail the conversation because I have to go back to Keela's on this one. One thing that she's doing to stay relevant, which I am so grateful for, is posting all of the information for EDD and unemployment and all of that. The service you've done for the DJ community by keeping everybody up to date on the latest so that everyone isn't reinventing the wheel all the time. You've become my resource for that. I go to your page to see, maybe what have I missed on, or is there something else available to me now that I can look into? So I really did, maybe after we go through this question with all of us, I do want to go back to you a little bit and find out more about, any guidance you can give people that are maybe struggling right now to get financial assistance through any of these programs. Maybe if you can give us like a quick synopsis of what you've learned.
I've been a crazy person with a tinfoil hat for the past month searching. It's been a job, I am telling you. And the reason that
we recognize how much work you put into this. This is why I'm so grateful that we have you here today.
No, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that too. I'm doing it a lot. I started doing it for myself out of frustration that I got approved for zero benefits here in California. And I know, Kristen, I think you're in Florida, which I think is even worse in terms of their unemployment situation. But we're slowly getting that seen. But yeah, at first, that's what triggered it was the fact that I got no benefits. And we were being told that we could get benefits. And I was so frustrated. And there was nobody to call. And there was nobody answering my email. So I started this whole mission to search for what options were for us. And I have had a lot of feedback from the community. A lot of people thanking me. I had some people sending me Venmo tips. And I'm like, guys, don't tip me. I'm trying to get money. The tips. We don't need. So it's been interesting. But essentially, yeah, when it comes to that, definitely for the independent contractors, gig workers, self-employed people out there in California and elsewhere, it's trickling out. There's something called pandemic unemployment assistance, which is a carve out of traditional unemployment insurance. And you apply for that. They're in California, especially, I don't know how other states are doing it, so I can really speak for California. But in California, what they're doing here is when you fill out your application, approvals coming through within 24 to 48 hours. You're supposed to be getting your funds on a debit card within a week. Hopefully, I'm still waiting on that part. So hopefully, knock on wood, that part. But I was approved within the 24-hour time frame. But anyway, with that being said, it is giving people that extra funds to go out there and kind of make it. So what I would say to DJs out there is, I know a lot of us are used to making our rounds and making money, and sometimes it's hard to swallow your pride and sign up for that. There's assistant programs out there, but we are in a time that you definitely need to go out there and do that. So look into your local pandemic unemployment assistance program. Because a lot of us, I'm sure, don't want to take on loans that we have to pay back with interest and all that. So if you're looking for just assistance in California, base pay is $167 plus an additional federal benefit of $600. So
That's
you're looking
per week.
Yes. So once all that, we're looking at $767 per week for I think it's 8 weeks, which that's probably gonna get extended given the circumstances. But at least it gives you an extra, couple $1,000s a month to pay your bills and everything like that. So pandemic unemployment assistance, look for it in your state, apply for it, super easy. The only thing I would say is just make sure that, you have your tax documents, if not 2019, 2018, and just be as truthful as possible, because there is a chance they will ask for money back. So I know it's tempting because you can just type it in. Don't do that. Be honest, because they will ask for that money back, and it's going to be a whole headache at the end of the day. So it might sound like a good idea now, but don't do that. But PUA, honest as possible, fill out that application and get some assistance, you guys, because we definitely need it. And then,
and I'm just going to say, I think everyone who's tuning in here should definitely go visit Keela's Facebook page and see the information she's taken so much time to curate and put up. Go take a look at that. If you have questions, she's got it all laid out over there, and she's got all the links up there, so you guys don't need to dig around the internet. Make sure and friend her, because she's an awesome person as well. Make sure to
and I know you're super creative at thinking of ways to stay connected with your clients and audience. What are some things that you and your company are doing at this time? Kristen?
Oh, is that to me?
Yeah. I was like,
did I answer an email? She was just
I'm sitting here smiling like I thought she was going to answer that question.
We were due for an awkward silence. We've been chatting for 45 minutes without one. So.
Oh, God. Hello, guys. We're still here. We're live. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Ask me the question again. How are we staying creative? What's the question?
No, you're super creative.
Okay.
Coming up with content. How are you and your team staying in front of your audience and clients right now?
Oh my gosh. So yeah. So I mean, we're trying to it's funny because when this first started happening, we were like, okay, let's get our head together because we've got to change the message. We can't just say the same things we've been saying. Just like Khalil was saying, like you got to be sensitive to the message. So it's not just about pushing content on Instagram out anymore. And the conversation is changing all the time. So we pretty much it's like relevant current events, right? Me and the girls usually meet about once every other week or once a week if needed, and we're like, okay, what's going on now? Like for example, we had planned to do interviews with a couple of our previous couples for the month of May. And we're still going to do those on like the Backstage Pass. But now that we've kind of hit that 30-day mark and the state of Florida has, for us, things aren't really going back to normal yet. And now there's no end in sight for us. They've said, restaurants can open up at 20% capacity and you can have elective surgeries, but like, that's it. So there's no word on anything else. And I understand that because they're wanting to get to the point where they just want to see if we can kind of behave ourselves and things don't spike. And then they'll probably open back up. But that's kind of changed things around a little bit. So we're like, okay, how can we kind of change the messaging to go with that? And usually we have a process. Usually it starts with, communication to our clients just directly, whether that's an email or whatever. And then we're like, ooh, this is actually great information. Like, let's create a blog on it. And then we end up messing around, with creating graphics. And then we're like, okay, cool. Let's post this on Instagram. Wait, we could do a live on this. So it almost just, it's funny because there's only a handful of us that are in the office, and then we've got our DJs that work remotely, right? Because they're mobile DJs, but it seems like we're connected now more than we have been before. So it's almost like a team effort on like somebody will drop this idea and then I'm like, ooh, well, what if we added this? And then someone else is like, oh, let's add that. So I think for us at the end of the day, it's really about how do we create I mean, I really think it's live content because we can't meet them out and about. Like we can't go to wedding showcases. So it really kind of starts there, and it should just be informational, authentic, and relevant to whatever time you're in right now.
Yeah.
I have a quick tip I'd like to give everyone.
Yeah, go.
So going back to Twitch real quick, the way I've stayed in front of my audience is doing these live streams, but thinking forward, I'm building an arsenal of content that now when I'm out of this, I can send to my clients. I've always had clients saying, do you have any videos? Do you have any videos? Now I have a ton of videos.
Yep.
And if you are going to stream on Twitch, which I highly do recommend, that's almost like your visual portfolio now of live streams. And if you are streaming there, they do delete all your content after 14 days. Everything will drop off. But if you save it as a highlight, if you go back into the video producer function, it will let you save previous broadcasts as a highlight. And all you do is drag the markers out so it's the full show, save it as a highlight. It'll upload in the highlight section, and that will stay up there forever. So now I have like 18 live shows that when a client wants to see, oh, what kind of music do you play? I can be like, well, I literally play everything. Here, you can check it all out.
Yeah.
Have fun, knock yourself out, and it's all, the greatest thing is I'm doing a lot of hosting and I'm seeing, which people can't see through photos, that I'm good on mic. So now they can see that I have hosting, I'm seeing capabilities as well, which again, raises my rate in real life events. So, don't take any of these things for granted. Don't think it's a waste of your time. You're building marketing material. As long as, you have the right platforms and you save it properly, this will all be useful later.
Yeah, I think for us, the one thing we're doing, similar to you, Ninja, but instead of Twitch, anytime we go live, we are also streaming it to YouTube. And so we've built up our YouTube kind of portfolio. And for us, that is huge because I don't know, we'll have to go offline and see if this is a Twitch thing or not, but I'm obsessed with YouTube because of the SEO capabilities.
I've seen YouTube take down the videos though because of copyright though. Like
I haven't had any of that. Well, we have only had one of my live streams is up as far as music goes, and it's been up for 3 weeks and they haven't taken it down yet. So I don't know. Maybe it's only because it's a 30-minute set. Maybe it's because of remixes. I'm not sure. But,
Probably,
maybe we'll find out on the other side of this that maybe Twitch, because I'm apprehensive of like, gosh, another platform, right? But, maybe that's the benefit of that. Or if that's not the option for some people, maybe we use it, if YouTube doesn't shut me down just for the SEO purposes.
Yeah. Well, you all contributed the most amazing advice and insight. We'll close it out on that note. I'll let everybody shout out their handles. We'll start with DJ Keyless. Where can everybody find you and all the platforms?
Absolutely. So I'm DJ Keyless, and you can find me at DJ Keyless. That's Keelez. Pretty much on all platforms. And I look forward to reaching out with everybody, following back, whatever the term is, hit me back. I hit you. That's so.
It's been so much fun having all of you guys together. Like, this has been such a great conversation. I hope it's been great for everyone that's tuned in, but I know for me, it's lifted my spirits it's just great to hear what everyone's up to. So definitely make sure to connect with us. I'm DJ Miss Ninja. That's DJ MISSNINJA, like in the little, it's on that side. That thing right there, hit that. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, which I never tweet because I just can't handle it. It's like talking to myself because no one responds to me on Twitter. But everywhere else, find me. I'm DJ Miss Ninja. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. This was great. It's always great that we get to hang out, and it's in all of the things that are going on in the world. This is the gift we've all been giving, is being able to be closer than ever before, and also time alone. So thank you, and I appreciate you, ladies. You can find me anywhere on all platforms. Myself at Meet Kristen, or our company at Our DJ Rocks.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, for taking the time out to do this DJ discussion. Thank you so much, QSC, for having us. We appreciate you so much. Thanks.
We got a round of applause for QSC for having us. Yay!
Cheers and QSC. Bye. Have a good day,
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.